Kingdom people, they want you in a bad situation. They want to see you in a bad situation. And so, kingdom people, listen. I was recently paying attention to the story um, with the young lady that married the NBA star, former. And she was going on to say how he has a problem. And yeah, I mean, them problems go deep. First of all, he bad, if we gonna call it that, if you know what I mean. But that's just one of many. And while I was listening to her, although this is a worldly situation, we can learn from it because we often, or we can, many of us have, even if we didn't know it, experienced similar situations. This young lady was going on with her story and was saying how she tried to stick it out with him because she loved her husband. And she also mentioned that people around her were telling her, that's your husband. You can't leave. You have to help him through it. You have to support him. And so when I heard that, I was like, because having the understanding that when someone is a problem in your life, and I do mean that, a problem, if someone is, pretty much being with them can be detrimental to your well-being. You're not at peace. They take away your peace. They're not handling you properly. They're mistreating you. All those kind of things. That's not something that you should support. How do you support someone that's disrespecting you? Now, while I do get that there are times that God, keyword God, Holy Spirit, keyword Holy Spirit, will move men and women of God that walk with him, that have the Holy Spirit, to stick out certain things because God is dealing in the situation. God is working on that other party or working in the midst of the situation. Also, understanding that the particular person that's in prayer over the situation, not that both wouldn't be, because sometimes marriages just have issues, and many times both parties are trying to work through it. But it's very common that one party is more in prayer with God over the other when one seems to be more, gone off in la la land and not necessarily in alignment with God and with what God wants to do in that marriage. Now, the partner that is seeking God, that's in prayer over their marriage, is usually the one that God, tells to endure. I'm working this out. Kind of that God guides that person, encourages that person, comforts that person. And so when God is behind it, and when God is encouraging this person to just, intercede, and just fast and pray, trust him in a situation, then that's appropriate to do, clearly, because God is behind that. God is saying do it. Now, that's one thing. Now, on the other hand, when people are just out living their own life and doing their own thing, and I don't know this young lady's spiritual life or her relationship with God, but I'm pretty sure, just based on what I heard and understand, it's not there like that, or minimally there, if at all. That's no shade. I'm just making a point here. Here's the thing. If something is not serving you, but it's been a disservice to you, it's something that God doesn't want any of us, no matter who we are, to be in. Yes, do we find ourselves in situations that are not what He has for us or are not His perfect will for us? Yes. And sometimes things be okay and then things go left because the devil, your adversary, walks this earth like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. So he's always out here trying to devour. He let me tell you something. The devil hates relationships. He hates marriages. When I say relationships, I'm speaking from mother to father, sister to sister, sister to brother. He just hates relationships. He definitely hates marriages. Mother to children, did I already say that? He's always lurking and on the lookout to divide because he doesn't want people to be in good, healthy relationships. His whole purpose in relationships, for relationships, is to divide. So there won't be relationships. So people can feel like they're on their own and or just be disturbed over the torn relationship. Over, I was watching a young lady, this is just the extra. I was watching a young lady on YouTube, and she was just sharing how the situation where her husband went left and they're no longer together, and how he's just a totally different person. And it just really did something to me, especially because of what had happened, what was going on. And my heart just really went out to her. And not going into too much of her story, it just goes to show how the enemy is after relationships. The enemy is after marriages. And usually he tears apart a relationship with one party while the other is the one travailing. The one is in alignment with God, or making the necessary steps, working at trying to do things God's way. A lot of the times when one is working, they were both on that, but things happen. And I know this from experience. Well, somewhat. I can't say that the person that I was, whatever it was completely on it. I can't say that, but I know God had me there to help them get on that. But they got to a point to where they were trying to pull me away from it, and I wasn't going. So I had to separate, and the enemy was able to divide, tear that relationship up. And so be it, because I'm going to always choose God first. I'm going to always choose God, period. I mean, if you want to come along, we're going to do this with God, let's go. But I ain't giving up God to go follow nobody. Anyway, it's not about me. The point is, kingdom people, I'm speaking of people of God. Now, going back to what I was saying, this young lady was saying how this dude had lost his whole man. This dude was out of it anyway. And for those of y'all who know who I'm talking about, he was, listen, when I've seen pictures of him, I can't even look at him because it's bad. He looks horrible. He looks very demonic and dark. And like I said, he's so-called bad. But like I said, that stuff, that go deeper because it ain't good. And I pray that he come up out of that. But this is how the devil does people. This is what the devil does. So anyway, this is what I'm getting to, people. Kingdom people. She was saying how people around her is telling her she need to stick it out. That's her husband. And when I heard that, I said, they want to see her in a bad situation. Now, anybody in their right mind going through something like that wouldn't encourage nobody to stay in. I wouldn't say they should encourage them to get out, because people need to make decisions for themselves. But to encourage them to say in something horrible like that, even as I said, if you're a person of God, if you among believers and another believer is encouraging you to pray about it and, whatever the case may be, that's that. But when it's just all bad and it's just everybody involved in that situation, not just everybody involved, but the people that are aware of the situation, they know that's some dark mess. They know that's some demonic mess. They know that there's some mess that's not good for this young lady. They know, they get it, but they're encouraging her to stay and stick it out. And that is because they want her to be in a bad situation. They want that thing to have her all kind of messed up. They don't want to see her doing well mentally, emotionally. They want to see her in some jacked up stuff. They want to see her suffer. And so, it made me really think about us as kingdom people, how we often experience people that want to not only see us suffer, they try to make us suffer. They do things to try to harm us, hurt us, you know what I mean, stress us out, just, y'all know. So when these people are doing these things towards us, clearly, like I said, not only do they want to see, clearly they want to see us in a bad situation, but they want to be the ones to put us there because they take the actions to do so. So here's the thing. If you talking to somebody or dealing with somebody or they just aware of your situation, because I'm at this place where, first of all, I ain't got no situation like that to talk about. And after hearing about the young lady that I was just sharing with you all, that's a woman of God that was sharing what was going on with her husband. It was like, see, that's why I ain't trying to be going there, because how the enemy is tricky. I'm just reminded of Judas. The enemy is tricky, and he can, if you have an open door, any crack, there he go. And he'll just have a person off in la la land, allowing the enemy to disrupt your relationship. And here you are trying to fight for it and keep it going, and it's dragging you through the mud, trying to hang on to it while they busy trying to destroy it. Because they don't care about holding on to it. In fact, they too busy trying to destroy you and cause you harm. And that's exactly what I saw with the woman of God who was sharing her story. And I believe it. I know it to be so. Even from what she said he was saying, I could relate to it. This dude was trying to hurt her with some of the things he was saying. And she was making a point to say how she know how he loved her. And I believed her. I know he loved. I could tell from when I would watch them. They did videos together. And they did reaction videos for the most part. And he did. I saw it. So for him to flip out like that. Now he was from another country, Nigeria to be exact. And I know a little bit of something about that and how that go, because I've been there and done that. So that's why I say a lot of what she said I could relate to. She confirmed some things that I know. But anyway, I didn't get that far as she did in that situation. But anyway, kingdom people, let me stay on point. So what I'm saying is this. It can be good and go left if there's an opening. So you can't be fighting for something, to hold on to something, to make something work, when the other party not there. That's not what they on, when the devil got them. In other words, now I'm not saying you can't pray for them, but it does come a time where God will tell you to release them, or you just know, well, it's the same thing, you know within yourself to release them when you can't do it no more. I can remember being in a situation where I was like, God, I can't do this no more. And God released me from that situation, because that thing is too much. It can be too much, and that's the enemy's intention, for it to become too much for you. But what the enemy wants you to do is hang on and get drug and get destroyed, basically. Get your nervous system all jacked up. You know what I'm saying? Just have you all messed up. And the enemy uses relationships to do just that. He can. That's why I'm always ready. I'm not saying I'm looking for it, but when something go wrong or go left, I'm like, psh, another one bites the dust. And I hate to say it like that, but nothing surprises me because I know the spirit that's out here. I know how the enemy is operating, and I know people are people. I know that they're human, that they have their weaknesses, and sometimes if they're not armored up, and if they're, the enemy loves to come in when you're vulnerable, and sometimes he won't even just come in just when you're vulnerable. He'll use your mate to try to break you down and make you vulnerable so he can get in and just do his extra 1-2 on you along with the party that he's using. And so even in that, when you do become vulnerable, because it can happen, when you just crying out to God and you going to God and you let him help you through it, even if you want using other things to cope, and I say that from experience, as long as you're reaching out to God and your heart is right, he'll help you through it. But people who try to encourage you to stay when you know in yourself, you need to get out of here, this is bad. When they're trying to tell you to put up with something just because you married, they want to see you in a bad place. People that try to encourage you not to level up want to see you where you are, sometimes under them, depending on where you are in comparison to them. Not that you're comparing, but they are. When you want better for your life and people try to discourage you or try to do whatever to sabotage you, it's because they don't want to see you do better. Sometimes they want to see you in a bad place. When people try to tell you don't move from the place you at to be, and if it's not the greatest place and you don't care to be there, maybe you even shared something not so great about it, and then you look in the mood to something much better, and they try to say, oh, maybe you should just stay there and do this because at least you got this. They want to see you going through what you was going through there. They don't want to see you in a better place. And so, kingdom people, that often happens. But going back to marriage, I was listening to a young man not long ago, God bless his heart, and he was talking about how, I forget exactly what he was talking about because it's been a little bit, maybe a couple of months. And he said something to the effect of how God hates divorce. So if you're going through something with your spouse, separate. But God, he hates divorce. So you're not to divorce. God doesn't want you divorced. And I heard him say that. And my thing is, you're right. God does hate divorce. And God don't want you divorced. But Jesus also said, when they came asking Jesus about Moses' law of divorce, how he allowed divorce, a law of divorce, you know what I'm trying to say. Jesus told him, yeah, he allowed that because of how hearts turn cold, because people get hardened in their hearts. And so, again, when somebody mistreating you, abusing you, mishandling you, just can't get nowhere, is messing you up, is not healthy for you, it's not good for you. They're literally trying to tear you down and break you down spiritually with their actions, with what you're doing. There's no peace. That is an allotment for divorce. You don't stay in that because you married them. While God does hate divorce, he hates you being abused more. He'd rather you divorce the abuser or the one that's not treating you right, the one that's trying to break your spirit, kill your spirit, get you all messed up and unhealthy, and or trying to make you be like that and you see it. Get out of there. So I'm saying that all to say, kingdom people, listen. These people be wanting to see you in a bad situation. And sometimes they're masqueraded and mask it as concern, as trying to tell you how to do the right thing. Cause you married, take the abuse. That's basically what they were saying. Cause he went through some things. He going through it. Obviously, he got some things going on. So allow him to just mishandle you and mistreat you. If a nigga got some issues and some, excuse my language, y'all, but if a nigga got some issues, all these addictions, he want to go over there sleeping with men when he a man and whatever else he doing, because he was doing that already. But I guess things just got out of control. But that's what you get when you get involved with stuff like that. As I said, these are really people, but this is something that happens in with godly marriages as well. It can happen. Let me say that. That's why it's so important for you to keep God at the head of your marriage, at the head of your life, at the head of your family. It's important. And you got to keep them in, keeping them keep every day. It's a lifestyle. It's a constant effort. It ain't like you put him in, now you can go on. No, you got to make sure he stay there, because the enemy is always out here trying to rip him away. And you got to make sure you like, no, he's staying right here in place. And I'm staying here right here in place. And our marriage is staying right here in place. And I'm just using the marriage as an example because that's where this whole message stems from. But it can happen in any kind of a situation. Any kind of a situation. But just know and understand that the enemy does hate marriage. And he wants to tear them apart. And so that's why we have to be careful who we marry. And then once we marry them, things still can go left. It just is what it is. Not that it always does. Also, a lot of marriages do go through a lot of things. It be a strain on them. But both parties got to be willing to put in the work to understand each other, to see where they're doing things in error and work at it, because you want to, because you want to be there. You want to do the right things. You want things to be right. Not you want to control and you want somebody to be oppressed and you just need them to feed your ego and you want to feed off their energy. See, because those kind of things go on in marriages too, and or relationships, and some of us know about that. And we had to get up out of there because that ain't God's will either. He don't want you with no joker like that. If he can't get his life right and get his act right, God do give him grace. Sometimes he have us stand around a little longer than we wanted to be there because he giving them grace. He's trying to get the person to get his mind right and, get his act right. But in the midst of that, sometimes you be, you know what I'm saying? You got to get out of there. Get yourself back on point. And see, that's the enemy's whole point. That's his whole goal. To throw you off your square, to get you out of the will of God, to make you go cuckoo crazy for Cocoa Puffs, to break your spirit down, to bring you down to nothing. And hanging around the wrong person too long can do just that. Now, while we are strong for the most part, and we ain't gonna let that happen, you don't want to just be hanging around, especially once God give you your release to go. And that's in any situation, whether it be a job, a relationship, a place where you live, whatever. It doesn't matter. When God say time is up, guess what? Time is up. However, kingdom people, there are people around, and there tend to be people around that want to see you in a bad situation. They like you going through. That makes them feel good. Those kind of people. And if anybody is ever encouraging you to stay in a bad situation, and one thing that I didn't hear her say now one time that them people was saying to her was pray through it, pray about it. She didn't say that. So these ain't praying people trying to encourage her to seek God. They just saying, hey, you married him, you gotta stay. That's your husband now. Like we all don't know that that divorce is an option. Not that that's what we ultimately want, but if that's gonna free us, we gonna take it. Notice I said free us. Know the truth and you will be free. Divorce is allotted according to Jesus the Christ when there are hardened hearts. When something that went left, when somebody is not treating you right, when the love is not there, in other words. When the love ain't there, somebody not treating you in love, he said, get on up out of there. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I intended for marriage. I'm talking for Jesus. But hey, the devil came to kill, steal, and destroy. I came to give you a life, Jesus Christ said, and a life more abundantly. Since The devil then came and killed, steal, and destroyed that marriage. Get out of there and get the life and life more abundantly that I came to give you. Jesus said you can have that on your own. You don't need him or her to do that. Now let's go. But kingdom people, they want to see you or wanted to see you in a bad situation.